Welcome to My Toy Life. This is our show, and we're in the Christmas season, so you can see I've got the little workshop behind me. So here is our guest for tonight's show, Shawn Wright. Welcome to the show, Shawn.
Thank you, Terry. Glad to be here.
It's so good to see you. Well, I just wanted to start out by thanking you for coming and being on our show. And maybe you can tell us what got you into collecting.
Well, I was it's interesting. I had three GI Joes, and I'll sit to my left over here in my office. I'm actually in my office, those three GI Joes. I had those. I had a BB gun and I had a bike as a kid. Those are some of my three favorites things. And like everybody says, you get a little older, you get close to your teenage years. And at that time, my mom and dad went through divorce, and I was angry, as most kids are, whether parents know it or not. And so I took it out on my GI Joes.
Oh no!
And so I shot them up and beat them up and blew them up, and when I was done, I go, oh, now I don't have my GI Joes. I didn't help anybody.
No.
And so I was telling that story to my wife this summer. And, I began to get pretty emotional about that because it does affect you. Even I'm 55 and it still affects me. And so my parents split. And man, I realized I saw some show on YouTube. A guy has a museum down in Oklahoma or someplace for GI Joes. And I was like, wait a minute. Maybe I can get my Joes back.
Right.
And so this summer, as they came in through eBay and places like that, wow, I was like, it feels so restorative. It's just hard to describe. And then I just let myself go. And I'm like, the kids have left home. I don't have anything fun and creative to do anymore. This is great. And I got to know Paul and Andy and you and Rick Bradshaw and Angelo. And it's been great. So,
yeah. And I think I heard you talking on one of the other shows about getting your
Yeti. Yeah. Yeah. He's in the back there.
Yeah, I see him back there.
Yeah. Yeah.
This one is the fun Yeti. This is the one we got years ago.
Yes.
And I don't know. When I look at both of them, I said, wow.
Yeah, they're funny.
They're funny, but they also are fun. I went into a flea market one day, $1.
Wow. Yeah. See, and I like finding bargains. I will say I haven't, maybe those first three I went a little crazy on because they were important to me, but I like finding some deals on stuff. And right now I think it's pretty much a buyer's market. Sure. If you want to, because it just seems like people can't get the money out of them like they think they should. And you go, okay, I'll give you $10. And it's that or nothing, or $20 or $30. So
that's right. You can get now whatever you want, whatever you'd like.
Yeah.
And you can always bargain, just bargain people down. That's kind of like being at an old flea market, where you have a few bucks, they have something. And I went to I guess one of the antique stores a few weeks ago, and they had one of the 40th anniversary Joes.
Okay.
I really wasn't wanting it or interested in it, but I asked him what he wanted for it. He said, "Oh, I want $65." I said, "Oh my, no, ain't nobody going to give you $65 for it." He said, "Well, let me show it to you." And when he went over to get it, the Joe had been stolen out of the box.
Oh man, that's bad.
Yeah, somebody had just swiped the Joe, and he said, now I don't know what I'm going to get for it." I said, "You might get $10, man, if you're lucky."
Yeah, it's funny. I think that's true of a lot of things. I see people who have Dodge Neons and they think they're worth $10,000, and I'm like, it's a Dodge Neon, and so it's funny how people just have prices on things, and yet I think this economy is waking people up.
Hey.
Yeah, bless you.
Yeah, the economy is really odd right now. It's just, I don't know. Everybody's kind of. Have you seen any of these?
Ooh, Ming the Merciless. Is that from a Flash Gordon movie?
Yes.
I saw that at the theaters when I was a kid. You know, when I was like, I don't know, 15, 16, something like that, 17.
Yeah. Captain Action, Captain Action, you know, that was the big toy back during the same time of G.I. Joe. And then this company here, playing Mantis, they remade these. These are the remakes of the original. There's Flash Gordon right there.
Oh, okay. So that's more like the one from the 50s, not the one in the 80s. The movie. There was a movie that came out in the 80s that had Queen as the soundtrack of Queen and all that. Yeah.
Right, right. This is one of the 50s movies. But I saw. Go ahead.
Did you just get that?
No, I picked it up. I picked it up a few years ago at a toy show, and I really bought it because of. Let's see if I can get it up here. I don't know if I don't know. If you see that?
$4.99.
That's what it's sold for in KBs, man. Can you believe it?
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I remember that. There was one in our mall up there. Yeah. I remember when they were closing up. Me and my friends, we were into the laser tag. There was a nice laser, and I went in and I got the rifle for like, less than half price or whatever. And then when we played in the dark out in my folks' home, out in the country. And man, I could now snipe people from far away. It's fun to find a deal. Let me ask you what you think of this. I got this, and I kind of think it's cool. You see who he is? He's the Australian jungle fighter.
Yes, yes.
And he's unopened, but I did notice that his little box, it's a little faded and a little loose right there.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what it is about it, but I think he just doesn't appeal to me. And I thought about trying to sell it or trade it, but I don't know really what they're worth. The guy threw it in when I bought a few of these others back here. But I'd like to get it and just use it towards another Joe that I do want,
Well, there are people that are collecting that particular Joe, and maybe you could post a picture of it on that group Toys Mine, and just tell people what you're looking for,
right?
And say, I'm willing to trade this for this.
That's right.
You might have somebody that will snap that up because they're looking for that one.
Right, that's a good idea. Yeah, I need to do that because that's what these are my favorite. Now I'll show you my 3 originals if you don't mind.
No, I want to see them.
So this always was my favorite. Now I put the blowtorch on him and the helmet, but the orange, and he didn't have the knee pads. I just found those. I got a bunch of junk on eBay and like $15 for this bunches of this stuff.
Right.
And I remember losing the pistol and being upset when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But that's him. And that's the Air Adventure. And he's actually the repo from the 2000s or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he was the very first one I got back again. Now, I will say what's funny. I had bought, when in the 90s, when I got married, my wife would be 29 years this December 3rd. Okay. And after we got married, we had our first baby. And not long after, and I said, they got these G.I. Joes out. I started buying them at Target thinking, I'll let my son play with them. My kids never played with any of them. But I did have still about 10 of them in the basement thinking I'd give them to them when they got old. They just never got into it. So now they're on display. I just took them for myself.
I guess I did not, and maybe you didn't either, but I know I didn't realize how much movies and TV affected me as a kid.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons that the other generations did not buy into it, because they never watched movies. When I was a kid, we watched Cowboys and Indians every Saturday. We watched Combat. We watched 12 O'Clock High because World War II had just ended, a few years before, and they were in the Korean War. So all of that, it contributed to our interest in that. And then later, when people came later, they didn't watch that stuff, and so that's not they weren't attracted to it.
And I will say, I think, kids in different generations have different interests.
Yes.
Our parents didn't play with anything like this. I know my
No.
dad.
No.
My dad played with real guns and and tractors and worked on the farm and all that stuff. And so for me to be able to do that was pretty neat. And I think nowadays you just got kids that are interested in different things, and kids are really they're hyper into sports now. Like they'll start playing in second grade and then they go to camp and their lives are so busy. Sometimes I wonder if they just need time to just play and imagine. And I think that's the other thing. I didn't have any choice. It was a BB gun, a bike, and some GI Joes, and a few Hot Wheels, and a dirt. So I just went out and played in the woods and played with that stuff. I think that's healthy because you got to use your imagination. So
my grandchildren, I have a few of them that still play in the dirt, but some of the others, they've never played in dirt. They don't even know what it would be like to play in dirt.
Right, exactly. This was the second one I got of the three.
Cool. Very
and
nice.
I put the guns and accessories, but this is the original 1970s. I don't know what year he is. I guess I'll have to look it up. And then the third one, and what's funny, those were the two good guys, and this was always the bad guy in my battles. It was this Mike Pires guy, because I had I love $6 Million Man, and this was kind of a throw off of him.
Yes.
And I was like, "You're stupid looking, Mike Pires. You're the bad guy." So I would make him the villain and all. Just because I was a kid, my mom got him for me from Kmart. But yeah, this guy's pretty cool. Now I like him, of course. But as a kid, you just use your imagination, and so.
Well, he was a cheap knockoff of the $6 Million Man.
Right. I still think he's cooler than the $6 Million Man because he's more posable. Yes. You know what's neat? I got this from that guy who has that museum there in Oklahoma, and he gave me these. He said these are pretty rare. I don't know if you can see them.
Yeah, the white shoes are. Yes.
Yeah, I thought that's so. So he gave me a deal on those, and I thought that was neat.
I do too. But
they just set over here. I got these acrylic shells. I think you might find this interesting. Two small hooks, and then that holds them up. So that way I can get away with that without my wife getting mad at me for putting holes all in our walls.
Oh, I know. My wife asks me every day, when are you going to get these Joes out of my living room?
Hey, it's your living room too.
Yeah, it's my living room, and she just wants it. She wants them out of there.
I can understand, but then again, I don't go messing with my wife's shoe closet and stuff. That's what I say. So.
Well, what I did for her is when the kids were gone, I took one of the bedrooms and I made it into a tea room.
Yeah.
And she's got like 200 teapots in there.
Oh, yeah,
they're all in nice cases and everything. So I just tell her, well, you got a whole room. All I got is one little shelf over here.
Yeah. This might help somebody. I want to show you. This is what those shelves look like. Yes. And so then what happens is you just put a hole as small as that, a little bitty thing. And then they stay behind the drywall and they'll hold quite a bit of weight.
Oh, now that's a neat trick.
Yeah. I just made it up. I found these on Amazon, acrylic shelves. And I think you get 6 of them for like $25. And these are called monkey hooks.
Monkey hooks. And you get them on Amazon too?
Yeah. Well, I got the off-brand version.
Okay.
Because you got more of them for less money. But it just allows you to put up to 3 Joes kind of on here on display. And I don't have to build shelving, because our walls are painted the way my wife wants them. This was at one point our dining room. Now it's my office. And, at some point we want to probably move further south, like where you're at, and be warmer. And I don't know when that's coming, but if it does, I don't want to have to do holes in the drywalling,
No, you don't want to have to fix things. Well, cool.
But that might help somebody else that's wanting to put them on display, but not ruin their walls. So.
Well, what we'll try to do is we'll try to put a link in the descriptions where people can actually click on it and go to it right to Amazon.
Yeah. I'll do that for you. I'll send you a link.
Yeah.
Put it in. That's good.
Who's your parachute guy behind you?
Yeah, that's Army. That's
The Black Knights, is that one of the
Black Knights
or Gold
yeah
Knights, whatever they're called?
yeah I found somebody that I like that you can make an offer, and I just made this offer for I think like $22.
Yeah.
And I was like, they'll never take it. It's FAO Schwartz. But the box was a little damaged.
Yeah.
And they took it, plus like $10 or $12 shipping. And I was like, I can't believe I got that.
The parachute's probably worth that.
Yeah, I threw this one the other day. I put a video.
I saw the video of it. Yeah.
Yeah, my granddaughter was over with all the kids, and my kids are all having fun teasing Dad because he's collecting GI Joes, and then you know what? As soon as I said, "Hey, let's go do this," when I told them about it, they all wanted to come. They're adults now, so it's pretty fun. It's a great hobby.
One of the things that I miss about Joe Lanta is we used to have it in the Marriott there in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And on the Friday or the Saturday, whichever evening, after everything was done, we would all go up to the very top part of the hotel and throw them into the lobby. Lobby. And oh my goodness. Awesome. For about 45 minutes, it was pure chaos.
That's so cool. Imagine you're there just to stay the night somewhere, and all of a sudden GI Joes start raining down.
Yeah, they're raining down on you. And some of those videos are absolutely awesome.
That sounds
it was a lot of, I got my grandson probably about 4 or 5 years of doing that, and that's a memory forever.
Right.
Jack Hall, one of the guys who used to come every year from Michigan, one year he brought a special GI Joe dressed up like Elvis Presley in the Las Vegas uniform, and he threw him.
Oh, so he was like that movie.
That's right. He was like the movie.
Right.
I'm telling you, we just all went crazy that night.
Kevin Costner. Yeah, what was that called?
Don't know.
I can't remember, but I remember. Yeah, that movie. That was wow. And I got this the other day at
this is the one you were telling me that you're going to make into the Mech Man. Yeah.
I got this for $1.99.
That is awesome.
This guy was already missing a leg because I took his leg off. He was like an extra. I took his leg off and put his leg in a crocodile and put blood on it, and all that over on there. And so I was like, well, why not just take the other leg off and he'll be the the guy who's the wounded soldier, and so I'm trying to carve out so I can get his body to fit in here. I want to eventually make this like a real saw blade or something. It's just so much fun, Mac, working on this stuff. So
it is. I have had people send me. I work with Mark's Toys as well, and I've had people send me horses that didn't have tails, or their legs were busted. And there's something called epoxy sculpt that you can actually sculpt with this epoxy. And then when it hardens and dries, you can paint it, and you can't even tell that, that it's not the original plastic.
I just learned about that. Yeah. And this is all new to me. I mean, a lot of these things I'm learning, but, with people like you and Paul Knapp and Andy from Indy, and, I'm making some good friends here. A lot of really good people in this community.
It is. And it to me, when I was growing up, we had a few guys in the neighborhood that had Joes, and so I didn't have one, but we played with their Joes. And I guess as I grew up, I just, like you did, I went on with my life and my family and what have you. And one day in the 1980s, we were at a flea market, and we saw a Joe, and I bought him, and that was my reconnection with Joes.
Yeah.
My kids, they've always collected the small Joes. They've got the aircraft carrier and all the
nice
helicopters and all that stuff. But me, I just stayed with the big Joes. I'm the big Joe.
I know. I don't know what the community feels about that, but when I was at that age, when those first came out, that cartoon and that stuff, I was quite snobbish. I was like, those aren't GI Joes. I mean, you know, I was a teenager-ish. I don't remember what year did those come out? What's the small ones? What year did they come out?
88.
Okay, yeah. So I had just graduated from high school in 86. I was and I started seeing it. I was like, those aren't GI Joes. That's I know what a G. That's not it. Those are too tight. Who wants a little GI Joe? I mean, what man doesn't want to be, you know, the bigger one? So I was just kind of like put off by it, and so I've never looked at them or collected them. God bless everybody who does. I want everybody to have fun with it. I don't really feel that way now, but it's just a shock, you know, when you're a child, you know, and suddenly the Ryder BB gun is sacred to you, and now it's come out and it's plastic or something.
Well, my grandson he went to Helen a few weeks ago, and he brought me back the smallest GI Joe, and he said, "Papa, I saw this in the store and I wanted to get it for you, and it's not but that big."
You know, Andy from Indy had one, and he pictures, and the GI Joe had a GI Joe in his hand.
Yeah.
I guess maybe it was like that. I thought that was pretty.
That's the smallest GI Joe, and sometimes you can find them at Cracker Barrel, and well, I'm sure Amazon's got them.
What are they called? Is there a brand name, or what is it?
You just search for the smallest GI Joe,
or
mini GI Joe.
GI Joe. Yeah. That would be kind of funny.
Yeah. Have your Joe holding a Joe. It's cool.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. It's cool. Well, man, I am so glad you came along and joined with us, and we get to share a little bit. I wish you all the best, and a happy Merry Christmas. Okay.
Thank you. Hey, I look forward to seeing anybody that comes to Joe Winterfest. I'm actually going to help them with that photo setup.
That will be awesome.
I think so.
That is, and you're going to meet some of the best creators in
right.
You're going to meet some of the best.
Yeah, so I'm going to make a video too for him of his thing and take pictures for him. I've talked to Steve the other night, but I look forward to meeting anybody in the Midwest area that comes over to that. That'll be January 27th. But I'll be at the early bird.
I wish I could be there, but I just there's no way I can make that. But I wish I could. I don't like to give people plugs, but one of the things that has become my favorite is Joe Fest, and that's in Augusta, Georgia.
Oh, that's not too far from you then.
No. And the reason I like it is because it has all the different figures that are out there, plus the big and small GI Joes.
Okay. And
you go into this huge, like a convention center, and it's wall to wall GI Joes. I mean,
now is that the same as Joe Lanta that I've heard people talk about?
No. Joe Lanta is much more smaller, more intimate.
Okay.
But they try to keep 80% of the big Joes.
Oh, okay.
And Toy Lanta is completely different because Toy Lanta has every kind of toy, kind of toy. Well, when you go to Joe Fest, the thing that happens at Joe Fest, you will actually see people there that are creators. They will have GI Joes that they have customized. These are not Joes that could ever be bought in stores or whatever.
Oh, neat. Yeah.
And you might only be able to get one or two of them completely. They're just saying no more. They customize them. They make them. They had an aircraft carrier there last year that was customized. It was so customized. It even had bathrooms for the Joes. It had locker rooms. Now these were the small Joes.
Oh, I got you. Okay, small.
Yeah, these are small Joes, but still, when you look at that, when you look into that aircraft carrier, and it looks like the inside of a real aircraft carrier,
it's wild.
It blows your mind. It's just mind-boggling. And they wanted $3,000 for that aircraft.
$3,000?
Yeah.
But the amount of time making that, though, is probably a lot more than that. Even think about
That's right.
Now, what do these custom GI Joes typically cost? The big ones. What? I don't have any feeling for what are those things.
A customized GI Joe is going to be anywhere. I just sold one the other night for $125.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if they were 200, 500. I didn't have any idea. So
we're going to, hopefully me and Greg are going to come out with a figure for next year. We're only going to make 8 of them. There won't be but 8 made. And we're not going to reveal right now what the theme of it is, but it's going to be an adventure, because it's going to tie into the adventure theme of GI Joe. But it's an adventure that they never had, and that may be a little pricey figure.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. If there's only 8 of them or 7 of them or whatever, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just having fun with it, man. I'm glad getting to know everybody, and maybe I can help some people with some photography tips, you know. And I'm just glad to get to know you. You know, it's fun. It's fun doing this. I can't believe how much fun I'm having with it.
Well, again, have a Merry Christmas, and we'll
You
see
too, buddy.
you again. Y'all
Take
remember,
care.
thank you for joining, watching us and sharing with us. And please like, share, and make some comments. We like to read the comments. And remember, toys are fun.